What's going on, lads and lasses? Welcome back to 100% Mag. So, of course, Newcastle United take on Brighton Sunday, 2 o'clock kickoff down at the Amex. And, of course, there's only 4 games left to play this season now. So we need to be getting the results as we are in a very comfortable position to at least still finish second in the league and get ourselves that Champions League football. So we've had some brilliant results over the past few days, and of course it's set up really nicely for us to go into this game. And if we get the 3 points in the game, then we'll have a really good chance of attacking that Champions League position for next season and have ourselves some Champions League football once again. Looking at the information going into the game, of course this is our penultimate Premier League away game of the season. We are winless in 7 PL trips to the Amex, 4 draws and 3 losses, of course. The only time we won at this ground in recent times was back in the 16-17 Championship campaign, where we won 2-1, goals by Modiami and Ayose Perez for that one. And we are looking to avoid a Seagulls treble. So far this season, we have lost to Brighton in the league and, of course, in the FA Cup as well. So we are looking to avoid losing for a 3rd time to Fabian Hurtzler's side this season. And hopefully, we will come away from the Amex with the result that we want. Isak is boogie team, of course, is Brighton. 5 Premier League games versus Brighton without a goal against them. But with the form that Isak's on right now, I would expect him to get a goal or more in this game against Fabian Hurtzler's side. Looking at, of course, us this season looking at us, in overall against Brighton, we have claimed just 13 out of 45 Premier League points versus Brighton when we've played them over the time in the Premier League. 2 wins, 7 draws and 6 losses. And looking at the team news going into the game, we'll look at, of course, the Brighton side of the news first, then go to talk about, of course, Newcastle side of the news. The Brighton side of the news, they're going to be without João Pedro, who has been suspended, so he won't be available for the game. Milner, Rutter, Kadioglu and Webster are all out injured, so they're not available for the game. And then possible returns is Steele, Van Heck and Igor Julio as well. Then looking at the team news on our side, we've got No Halsey, obviously still. He's out for the rest of the season now. Jamal Lascelles is training on grass, I believe was mentioned, but still not anywhere to coming back yet. Matty Target, of course, is out because he's pulled his hamstring, so he's now out for the remainder of the season. And Joe Linton, at the moment, according to Eddie, in his presser today, said that Joe Linton is in Brazil rehabbing a problem with his knee, and it is unlikely that he will return this season. But you can never, of course, rule Big Joe out. He's always determined to get back and be fit and ready to play, but it may be a bit too much with how many games we've got left. Jason Tyndall as well, however, will be given a touchline ban for this one after picking up a yellow card and getting, of course, the limit of the yellow cards against Ipswich. Which means that he will be suspended for this game. So that means that Jonesy and Eddie will have to take charge of this game. And of course, Eddie's only just come back as well from being in hospital with pneumonia. So again, it is going to be a moment where we do have to take the time and, allow Eddie to get himself back into that groove of, the norm, what he used to do. Before he got that, whole situation with the pneumonia. Familiar face, of course, will be at the game. But on the Brighton side of things, Yakuba Minte, same for Newcastle United, never played for Newcastle United, but he has contributed to 6 goals this season for Brighton, and of course he struck in the game in March at St James's Park for Brighton as well. The last 5 games down at the Amex in the Premier League, of course, the 23-24 season seen, of course, a 3-1 loss. Callum Wilson getting on the score sheet in that game. The season before that was a 0-0 draw. Season before that was a 1-1 draw with Isak Hayden scoring. The season before that, which was the 2021 season, of course, seen a 3-0 loss. And the 1920 season, of course, seen a 0-0 draw. The referee for the game will be Craig Pawson, 4th NUFC Premier League game this season. 1 win, 2 draws and 1 loss so far, with him officiating the games in the middle. And on VAR will be, of course, Andy Madley, Bobby Madley's brother. So looking at all of that news, looking at what we've just talked about there, like I say, we've got 4 games left. We're currently sitting 3rd in the league. If we can keep that momentum going, then we can get ourselves into that Champions League football. And that is the dream. That is the dream that we had 2 seasons ago, to win the League Cup against Meunier at that point and get ourselves Champions League football. Obviously, we didn't win the League Cup, but we did get the Champions League football. And then this season, we've won the League Cup, so let's get the Champions League football to go with it, and let's have that dream that we had 2 years ago against, of course, Meunier, and in the Premier League that season as well. And let's, propel ourselves to a really fantastic looking next season. With Champions League football, we can guarantee quite a few different things. We can boost with chances on quite a few different things as well. I mean, if you get Champions League football, you have an even better chance of attracting them big name players to the team. And of course, the added revenue as well is a plus, helping us, being able to spend even more in the summer window. And to be honest, with the way we've been spending the previous windows, where, we haven't really done much spending, to be honest, in the previous windows, we're sitting in a very comfortable position now where, FFP is probably going to work a little bit in our favour in this summer window coming up. And if we can get that Champions League football to boot, to help, attract them bigger name players to the team as well, then, it's all good. And we can only do that if we get the results that we need, which, looking at our fixtures, we've got some very, very favourable fixtures, to be honest. When you look at what we've got, Brighton next, we've got Chelsea, then we've got Arsenal, then we've got Everton. So some pretty interesting fixtures there. Brighton, of course, away, Chelsea at home, Arsenal away, and then Everton, of course, at St James's Park to see out the Premier League campaign. So looking at them, you'd expect we're to do something down at Brighton. It's going to be a tough game. It's not going to be easy, but you would expect we're to hopefully do something at the Amex. The game against Chelsea, I would again expect we're to do something in that game. Chelsea have been pretty poor this season. We've seemed to have their number as well this season, but we'll talk about that more, of course, when I do the preview for that one. Arsenal, again, even though it's at the Emirates, we do seem to have, again, had their number this season. And then the Everton game, it's at St James's Park, last game of the season. We always seem to be quite up for that game, as we always are for all the games, but even more so on the last game of the season. It always seems to be a really good chance to see, the lads score a lot of goals like we've seen in the past. When we beat, Spurs at St James's, when we were going down into the Championship during Rafa's time at the club. Anyway, let us know your thoughts down in the comments below. What's your score predictions going into the game? Any Brighton fans watching, let us know your score predictions. going into the game as well, and your thoughts going into the game. And if you can, please like, share, subscribe to the channel. And also a big massive thank you to the support shown on the recent show that I did, where we chanted with Ipswich fans after the Ipswich game at St James's Park. Thank you for the support shown on that. Some really good viewing figures on that video, and I really do appreciate the support to that. So thank you once again, and I'll see you all in the next one, however that's.